topic is whether or not Christians should listen to secular music. I made a video really similar to this back in 2012 when I was in college. So much has changed since then. Everything has changed since then. So I thought it would be perfect to revisit this topic. So I'm gonna give a 30-second background on myself before I go into answering the question. So I grew up without any secular music. I listened to Christian artists on 88.1 was the Christian radio station. And I grew up listening to Barlow Girl, Natalie Grant, Stacey Orico, Skillet, Switchfoot, bands like that. Comment below if you know any of that music. It wasn't until I was an adult in college when I started listening to bands that were not Christian. So I'm going to start by talking about children and teenagers and the role of parents. And then I'm going to talk about adults and choosing what we're putting into our minds. So come at me in the comments, but I am very trad and conservative about this. I will also most likely be raising my children without secular music, and here is why. Being a young child and in the teenage years, it's an extremely formative time, and I think it can be so powerfully dangerous being bombarded with this message of casual sex, hookups, premarital sex, drunkenness, drugs, materialism, obsession with romantic relationships, cursing, gossip, using God's name in vain, glorification of wealth, and normalizing cheating in relationships. Of course, not all, but so many of the top 40 songs, the most mainstream music that everyone is listening to, has a horrible message, and I think parents have the obligation to protect their children, protect their teenagers from these outside influences that are steering them away from purity and away from God. Whenever I share this controversial opinion with friends, they always say, "Oh, I'm not a lyrics person. I don't pay attention to the lyrics. I just like the beat. I like how it sounds." Unfortunately, unless you're listening to music in a language that you do not speak, we cannot truly separate the lyrics from the music, and it will subliminally affect the way we view the world and our attitude towards moral norms. Music is very innate to the human soul. We can think of the ancient Greeks reading the Iliad and the Odyssey as epic poetry and that informing their culture. Then thinking about my own tradition, starting off with Judaism and the Israelites in the Old Testament and Christianity in the New Testament, singing as worship to God and joy and passing on the tradition is such a core part of our faith and has been over the past 2,000 years. When it comes to music being formative of actions, I've reflected on this a lot because a lot of my Christian friends who I grew up with intended to save sex for marriage and felt very strongly about that value, and pretty much everyone ended up caving and having sex with their boyfriend or girlfriend. And so it was very shocking and disheartening and disappointing for me growing up with people in youth group and church and seeing them have my exact zeal and convictions, but then ultimately failing at that. And one of the things that I've thought of is that I did not grow up with this sexual infused hookup culture, premarital sex culture in music, and I truly believe that that has a huge impact on how we view relationships and sex. So now I want to talk about listening to music as adults. Do I currently listen to secular music? Yes! I listen to a lot of secular music, but I think it's really important to be discerning about the lyrics and the meaning of songs. That being said, something I always share, instead of having this attitude of like writing down a list and saying which songs are horrible, which songs are okay, which have a bad message, which are pure, instead, I just want to pose the question to you. Why do you find joy listening to a song that's promoting a horrible message, talking about cheating in a relationship, hookups, materialism, obsession with romantic relationships, using God's name in vain, drug use, gossip, all of these things? Why is that a song that you're excited to listen to, that you want to work out to, that gives you energy, that motivates you throughout your day? Why is that something that you want to listen to? Something else I wanted to add is that the more time I spend with God, reading my Bible, going to confession, attending mass, praying, I find that when I'm more intense and immersed in that, I get offended at horrible messages more than I usually do. And during my Fiat 90, I was doing an hour of God time every day. I actually gave up secular music. So once I started up secular music again over the past month, I have just not wanted to listen to raunchy songs. It's just horrible. Like, I'm not interested in that. And I think when you have more of a spiritual mindset, rather than being like, you can't listen to this, you're like, I don't want to listen to that. So to be practical, I thought it would be cool to go through a list of songs by Taylor Swift and give examples of songs that I never listened to and hate. A lot of people will think I'm super trad and legalistic for saying this, but she has a song on Fearless on Speak Now called Better Than Revenge. And this is like a motif that she puts out in some of her songs, that she's very retributive and wants to get back at people and she's mad at them and there needs to be a revenge going on. That kind of motif, actually one of my best friends brought it up, that she doesn't like songs like that just because we are supposed to forgive people. Also on 1989, there's a song called Bad Blood, which also has that revenge theme, which I just don't like. So then on Reputation, a song that I do not like is called Gorgeous. It's about being attracted to someone else when you're on a relationship, which can be cheating. And so I absolutely hate songs that are talking about cheating, even in a subliminal way. Another song on Reputation called King of My Heart, I never listened to that one because the lyrics are very much like you just start a relationship and then you are having sex, and then because of that, he's king of your heart. One of my best friends even said that you could take King of My Heart and make it into a worship song. That's how much Taylor is idolizing her boyfriend. So then we come to Lover, one of my least favorite albums. So there's a song called False God. I listened to half of the song, turned it off, never listened to it again after reading the lyrics. She has a sacramental metaphor relating to sex to someone who she's not married to. So the lyric is, the altar is my hips, even if it's a false god. We'd still worship this love. I know heaven's a thing. I go there when you touch me. Honey, hell is when I fight with you. There are so many things wrong with that. I think it's horrible comparing the pleasure of sex to being in heaven and worshiping God, and then taking something so sacred of where we consecrate the Eucharist and then saying that that's her hips. Not a fan. Also, you need to calm down. I don't like. I made a whole live stream about this song at the time. One of the lyrics is, why you mad when you could be glad? And the official lyrics are glad with an extra A in all uppercase, which is the name of a gay rights organization, which I guarantee is against Christian sexual ethics and would have some negative views towards the Catholic Church for our views on sex. There's also a line, but you would rather be in the Dark Ages, which is a huge misconception that the Middle Ages was this horrible backwards time where nothing interesting was going on, nothing beautiful, creative, intellectual was happening because the Catholic Church was in charge. So this is a way that history is taught in so many schools. So many people in our country and the world believe this. In reality, during the Middle Ages, Catholics were creating amazing philosophy, building hospitals, creating the university system, making so many discoveries in science, building beautiful churches, so much amazing art. It was this flourishing time in the world. And so writing out the Middle Ages as the Dark Ages, anything related to that, I'm just completely against. Okay, so I hope this was really helpful, just showing my process of how I choose which songs I want to listen to. I think it's really wise to not write off all music, because a lot of music can be beautiful, even if it's not talking about God, if it's just talking about the love in a relationship. That's really, really incredible. And so much music is inspiring and hopeful and amazing in helping people get through hard times. And so I think music is an incredible medium, and I'm not at all writing off all music. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on this topic. I love all of you so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.